No one in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom expected violence that afternoon, especially not this kind, because standing barefoot in front of the bench, face red, chest heaving, was a billionaire's daughter who had just thrown her $5,000 designer heels at a judge. The shoes didn't hit him. They didn't need to. The moment they hit the courtroom floor, her life split into before and after, and she had no idea what was coming next. People would later swear they felt it before they understood it. Some said it was the sharp clack of luxury heels slamming across polished tile. Others said it was Judge Caprio's reaction, or rather, the lack of one. No shouting, no gavel, no anger. He simply placed his pen down, looked at the shoes, then looked at her. Not furious, not amused, deeply disappointed. The kind of disappointment money can't erase. Her name was Ava Elise Sinclair. Age, 24. Daughter of one of Rhode Island's wealthiest men. Raised in penthouses, private schools, and rooms where no was never an answer. Minutes earlier, she'd entered the courtroom like it was a charity gala she couldn't skip. Designer dress. Perfect hair. Oversized sunglasses, still on indoors. Phone already recording. She didn't thank the bailiff. Didn't acknowledge the clerk. Didn't even look at the gallery whispering. That's her. The Sinclair girl. She sashayed to the defendant's stand like applause was overdue. Her message was clear without her saying a word. Rules were for other people. Judge Caprio finally looked up. Good afternoon, Miss Sinclair. Ava didn't lift her head. She scrolled, checked her reflection in the front camera, adjusted a strand of hair, then leaned toward the microphone and muttered, "Let's get this over with. I have places to be." The courtroom stiffened. This wasn't nervousness. This was entitlement. And it would have been embarrassing if she weren't there for something deadly serious. 3 days earlier, Ava had driven her luxury SUV 48 miles per hour through a 20 miles per hour pedestrian zone. A grandmother and her 5-year-old grandson were crossing the street. Witnesses said the grandmother screamed. The child froze. Ava didn't slow down. She honked, then sped past them like they were an inconvenience. Officer Reyes pulled her over minutes later. Polite, calm, professional. When he asked for her license, Ava laughed behind tinted glass and said, "Do you really want to write me up? My dad literally funds half this city." She stepped out, heels dangling from one hand. "These cost more than your paycheck," she sneered. "Don't embarrass yourself." By the time the citation was issued, she was live streaming, mocking the officer, mocking the grandmother, mocking the city. She ended it with a grin. VIPs don't get detained. Everyone knows that. Back in court, the clerk read the charges. Reckless driving. Failure to yield to pedestrians. Harassment of an officer. Ava chewed gum loudly, arms crossed. Judge Caprio asked, "Do you understand the charges?" She smirked. Yeah. Just tell me the fine. My dad's office will wire it. This is wasting my time." The gallery gasped. Caprio replied calmly, "This is not a payment counter, Miss Sinclair. This is a court of law." She tilted her head. Same difference to people like us. Then Caprio asked the question that stopped everything. "Do you believe traffic laws apply to you the same as anyone else?" Ava didn't hesitate. "In theory? Sure. In reality? Come on, Judge. We both know how the world works." Caprio leaned back. "I want to understand what happened in that pedestrian zone." Ava rolled her eyes. "People should watch where they're walking. I have things to do." The gallery groaned. A woman in the back covered her mouth. Ava snapped. She ripped off one heel, slammed it on the table. Caprio calmly asked her to put it down. That's when she lost control. She tore off the other heel and threw both shoes straight toward the bench. They bounced uselessly across the floor. "How dare you lecture me barefoot?" she screamed. Judge Caprio looked at the shoes, then at her, and said quietly, "Miss Sinclair, you have just proven exactly why we are here today. Ava Elise Sinclair didn't see her wealth as privilege. She saw it as proof of superiority. To her, consequences weren't real, just negotiable obstacles you could throw money at and walk away from. Judge Caprio folded his hands. "Miss Sinclair," he said evenly, "whether your father has influence or not does not matter in this courtroom." Ava laughed. Not nervous, not uncertain. A genuine, mocking laugh. "Judge, please. I've been in court 3 times. Laws are just paperwork until someone signs them. My family signs big checks." She tilted her head, amused. "You think a ticket scares me?" The arrogance rolled off her like heat from fire. Judge Caprio looked at her with something she wasn't used to. Not fear. Not flattery. Experience. Decades of broken families. Scared teenagers. Parents begging for second chances. "You believe money shields you from accountability," he said calmly. Ava shrugged. "No. I know it does. It always has. No shame. Just boredom." As if she'd stated gravity. She lifted her chin proudly, convinced she'd won. But Caprio leaned forward, just slightly. Enough to signal danger. "Tell me something, Miss Sinclair," he asked softly. "When you drove through that pedestrian zone, what did you see?" Ava blinked. "People walking." "No," Caprio replied, voice lower. "You saw obstacles." The courtroom stilled. "You saw a grandmother and a child as inconveniences. A crosswalk as a delay. A public road as runway space." He paused. "In your world, everything is either a mirror or a stepping stone." Ava crossed her arms tighter. "Is this a therapy session or a court hearing?" "It's an accountability session," Caprio answered. "Something wealth has robbed you of." The gallery exhaled as one. For the first time, cracks appeared. "You don't know me," Ava snapped. "I know your choices," Caprio replied. She scoffed. "This is ridiculous. Just tell me the fine. I'll pay it. I have a brand shoot in 2 hours. I didn't wear makeup for you to keep me here all day." Caprio didn't respond. He simply looked at her. Not glanced. Not judged. Looked. And for the first time, Ava shifted. Uncomfortable. "No one is keeping you here," Caprio finally said. "Your actions are." She rolled her eyes aggressively. "Oh my God, enough with the dramatic lines." That's when the room changed again. Judge Caprio opened the file. Slowly, deliberately. Each word landed like a nail. "Miss Sinclair, 9 citations in 14 months. All paid within minutes by your father's office." Ava's smirk faded slightly. 3 separate warnings for dangerous driving. Escorted out of a pedestrian zone 3 months ago after refusing to move your vehicle. Caprio looked up. "You said," and I quote, "slow people shouldn't shop during peak hours." Ava shrugged. "It was a joke. It wasn't funny to the people you nearly hit." "I didn't hit anyone," she replied coldly. "So this is pointless." Caprio closed the file. Leaned forward again. "You speak as if harm only matters when it succeeds," he said. "That is not how life works. Or law. Or morality." Ava tilted her head, confused but defiant. "Well, nothing happened. So why are we pretending this is a tragedy?" Judge Caprio answered quietly. "Because the only difference between your actions and a tragedy is luck." The courtroom froze. "And luck," he continued, "is the last thing the justice system relies on." Something hit Ava then. Not fear, but exposure. Before she could recover, Caprio said, "We're going to watch the footage now." Ava froze. Not visibly, but internally. She shifted her bare feet, crossed them awkwardly, glanced at the gallery with irritation rather than concern. The lights dimmed slightly. She folded her arms and muttered, loud enough to hear, "This should be good." Someone whispered, "She really thinks this will help her." She smirked, until the screen lit up. Sunny afternoon. Busy pedestrian district. Strollers. Shopping bags. Families. A place where people trust the law to protect them. Then, her SUV blasted into frame like a bullet. The courtroom gasped. The car swerved, honked, accelerated. A grandmother and a small boy leapt backward. The boy stumbled. Ava's voice echoed from the body cam audio. Move. God, people are so slow. Not scared. Not apologetic. Annoyed. Ava watched stiffly, jaw tight. They exaggerate everything, she muttered. Caprio didn't look at her. The footage continued. Officer Reyes approached calmly. License. Registration. Ava laughed. Relax. Nobody died. I was in a hurry. She waved her heels at him. These cost more than your paycheck. Are we really doing this? The courtroom went dead silent. Ava stopped smirking. The grandmother appeared on screen, shaken, holding the little boy. Her voice trembled as she described how close the car came. Ava leaned out her window and said sarcastically, "Oh, please. If you're that frail, stay home." A ripple of disgust moved through the room. Ava stared straight ahead. And then, the video reached the line. The one that would follow her forever. The audio echoed through the courtroom. My family funds half of Providence. Write the ticket. My dad will make it disappear. Quiet gasps rippled through the gallery. Even Ava flinched, hearing her own voice, stripped of bravado, exposed and undeniable. Judge Caprio raised one hand. Silence fell instantly. This, he said calmly, is not a video about a traffic stop. He paused. It is a video about perspective. Ava crossed her arms tighter, muttering, "It's selective editing." Caprio didn't acknowledge the excuse. He nodded to the clerk. "Play the next clip." The screen changed. This time, it wasn't police footage. It was Ava's social media. A screen recording captured before she could delete it. She was laughing into her phone camera, mocking the grandmother, calling the officer slow, referring to the child as a mini traffic cone. The courtroom inhaled sharply. Ava spoke quickly, defensive. "It was just for my followers. People exaggerate online. It's jokes." Judge Caprio turned to her. "Steady. Quiet. Humor ends where harm begins." Her scoff came out weaker this time. Instinct, not confidence. The final clip played. Security footage from a bakery across the street. The grandmother stood at the curb, long after the SUV disappeared. The boy cried into her coat. She rubbed his back, whispering softly, visibly shaken. No edits. No captions. No filters. Ava swallowed. Judge Caprio spoke. "Miss Sinclair, what do you see in this footage?" Ava stared at the floor. "People overreacting." "Try again." She looked up, frustrated. "I don't know." Caprio nodded. "Then let me tell you what I see." "I see fear," he said. "I see lives you endangered. I see a child who trusted the law to protect him." His voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. You broke that trust because you believed your time mattered more than his safety. Ava stiffened. "You're blowing this out of proportion." "No." Caprio replied softly. "I'm finally putting it in proportion." The silence was suffocating. Judge Caprio bent down. He picked up the heels from the floor, held them gently, then placed them on the bench. "Your actions," he said, "left these behind." He looked at Ava. "And this footage shows why your perspective belongs beside them." Ava stared at the shoes. Confusion, frustration, and something unfamiliar creeping in. Consequences she couldn't dodge. Judge Caprio closed the file. "We still have the witness statement to read." Ava's breath hitched. The room braced. He unfolded a handwritten page. "This is from Mrs. Evelyn Harris," he said quietly. "The grandmother in the footage." Ava rolled her eyes, slower now, weaker. The courtroom waited. "I am 72 years old and raising my grandson after my daughter passed away 3 years ago." Every word landed. "We walk everywhere. We waited for the crosswalk signal. A car sped toward us." Ava's fingers twitched. "I pushed my grandson back. He cried. I tried to be strong, but inside I was terrified. The judge continued reading. She didn't slow down. She laughed. She made us feel small. Ava shifted in her chair. Not attitude. Reaction. My grandson asked me that night. Grandma, why didn't she care if we got hurt? A murmur moved through the gallery. I didn't know how to answer him. Caprio lowered the page. The room waited. Ava muttered, barely audible. She's being dramatic. Caprio looked at her. Do you understand the gravity of her words? They exaggerate for attention. Ava snapped. Caprio leaned forward slightly. You believe fear is exaggeration. She hesitated, then pride took over. I had control. I'm a skilled driver. Control? Caprio repeated. He nodded to the clerk. Please read the EMT report. The clerk's voice filled the room. The child showed signs of acute stress. Trembling hands. Shallow breathing. Fear lasting nearly an hour. Ava blinked. The clerk continued. The grandmother feared they would be struck if they had stepped even slightly farther. Caprio leaned back. Do you still believe this is exaggerated? Ava opened her mouth, then closed it. Her face flushed. Frustration, embarrassment, and something unfamiliar she couldn't name. I think, Ava hesitated. I think they're making me out to be a villain. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. Judge Caprio responded softly. That is exactly the problem. The room stilled. You believe harm must be intentional to be real. Ava froze. Your intent does not erase their fear. Caprio continued. Your wealth does not erase your responsibility. And your inconvenience does not erase their humanity. The gallery inhaled as one. Ava's eyes shot upward, defensive, unsettled. Not because she didn't understand him. Because she did. Judge Caprio lifted the witness statement again. I want you to listen to the final portion, he said. He read slowly. I am not angry at the girl. I feel sorry for her. Anyone who believes they are above the rules must be lonely in a way money cannot fix. The courtroom went completely still. Ava looked like she'd been struck. Her mouth opened. No words came out. Caprio lowered the paper. Mrs. Harris sees something in you that you have not seen in yourself. Ava swallowed hard. She wrote that about me? Yes, Caprio said quietly. Because she believes you can choose to be better. A beat. But she cannot make that choice for you. Ava stared at the heels resting beside Caprio's files. Symbols of the ego she had thrown. She tried one last time. So they're upset. Fine. I get it. But why is everyone acting like I'm some kind of monster? It was a mistake. Caprio looked at her for a long moment. When a mistake nearly takes a life, he said. The lesson cannot be small. Ava shrank back. The room felt heavier. Judge Caprio lifted another document. This is the statement from the boy's mother. Ava's head slowly rose. This one felt different. The courtroom sensed it. Caprio unfolded the page with deliberate care. This is from Melissa Harris. Ava didn't roll her eyes this time. She didn't move at all. My son is 5 years old, Caprio read. He loves dinosaurs, peanut butter crackers, and waving at police officers because he thinks they're heroes. Ava swallowed. That day was supposed to be a simple happy outing. The judge continued. When I got the call, my heart shattered. My son couldn't speak properly when I picked him up. The courtroom leaned forward. He kept saying, the lady didn't see me. He asked me if he had done something wrong by walking. A quiet gasp rippled through the room. Ava's hands gripped the table. My mother is elderly, Caprio read. She tried to protect him. If she had been half a step forward, I might have lost them both. The judge paused. I do not wish for revenge. I wish for accountability. Caprio lowered the page. Silence trembled. Ava's voice came out small. So, they're blaming me for their emotions now? The gallery reacted instantly. Shock. Disbelief. Judge Caprio raised a hand. Silence. Miss Sinclair, he asked calmly. Are you blaming them for being afraid? Ava clenched her jaw. I didn't hit anyone. But you could have, Caprio replied. And that possibility alone changes lives. Ava shook her head quickly. I didn't think. Everyone's making this bigger than it is. Caprio leaned in slightly. Sometimes the world must get big, he said, to show you how small your choices were. Ava blinked. Once. Twice. Her eyes glistened. She straightened her back, forcing neutrality. But the cracks were spreading. Everyone could see it. Judge Caprio picked up her heels again. Not as evidence. Not as props. As symbols. When you threw these, he said softly, you believed the world revolved around your frustration. Ava stared at them. Barefoot. Silent. Cornered. And for the first time, she realized the court wasn't trying to embarrass her. It was preparing to change her. You believed your inconvenience justified your anger, Judge Caprio said firmly. But that anger nearly hurt people who did nothing except trust a crosswalk. Ava turned her face away sharply. Her throat tightened. This courtroom is not here to humiliate you, Caprio continued. It is here to teach you what your wealth has denied you, the reality of consequences. The words hit harder than the footage, harder than the witness statements, harder than the gasps. Something inside Ava finally gave way. Not collapse. Understanding. And she hated how clear it suddenly felt. Her voice trembled. So what happens now? Judge Caprio paused. He let the silence do its work. What happens now, he said calmly, is that you learn. For the first time all day, Ava lifted her eyes with genuine vulnerability. No performance. No armor. Just fear. For reckless driving in a pedestrian zone, Caprio said, the maximum fine is $500. Ava's shoulders loosened. Relief flashed across her face. Too fast. Too soon. Caprio continued. When reckless driving is combined with harassment of an officer, public endangerment, and documented disregard for human safety, this court has discretion. The relief collapsed instantly. I am sentencing you, Judge Caprio said evenly, to 120 hours of community service. Ava's breath caught. Specifically, he added, at the Providence Children's Trauma Support Center. Her mouth fell open. With kids? She stammered. You want me to work with kids? Yes, Caprio replied gently. With children who know what fear feels like. The room went silent. Something, he continued, you dismissed as exaggeration. No, Ava said, shaking her head. No, I can't do that. My schedule, my brand, my contracts, all of which can wait. Caprio cut in calmly. Human lives cannot. Her voice cracked. You're ruining my career. Judge Caprio didn't hesitate. I am saving your character. The courtroom exhaled as one. Caprio continued. You will attend a 6-week driver responsibility program. You will write a reflective essay to this court. And you will personally apologize to Mrs. Harris, her grandson, and Officer Reyes. Ava's voice broke. I don't know what to say. Caprio softened. Not pity, he said, but purpose. Say what you have not said all day. Silence. Long. Shaking. Then, barely audible. I'm sorry. Judge Caprio nodded. That, he said quietly, is a beginning. A tear slid down Ava's cheek. She didn't wipe it away. For once, there was no audience to impress. Caprio gently placed her heels back on the bench. One day, Miss Sinclair, he said, you will understand why this moment mattered. Entitlement builds walls. Accountability breaks them. He looked at her steadily. Today a wall came down. Ava nodded weakly. Crying now. Not from embarrassment. From realization. Court is adjourned, Judge Caprio said quietly. The room breathed again. And for the first time since she walked in barefoot, angry, and untouchable, Ava Sinclair stepped forward. Not with arrogance, but with humility. If this courtroom moment changed how you see entitlement and accountability, Subscribe for real courtroom justice stories. Comment. Was Judge Caprio right? Like and share, because some lessons need to be seen by everyone. This wasn't just a sentence. It was a wake-up call.